Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Well, I was sitting here, actually doing winning in the word, and I got a text from Lakeisha, and she said, "Where are you?" So between I do got two people that watch Lakeisha and Jerry on Facebook, but anyway, I forgot to hit the go live button this morning, so sorry about that, everybody. I was here doing winning in the word like we were fully on. So anyway, I'll cut it down to 10 minutes. I'll try not to keep you guys over, but thank you for joining. I won't do my shout outs today. Listen, today I wanted to talk about the difference between dreams and desires. Dreams and desires. I'm reading this new book about dreams and really getting a really good understanding of dreams and kind of how to, because I know a lot of people talk a lot about their desires, but I really wonder if they're really their dreams, or are they just like they see others doing things and they just desire that? Because it's going to really take a dream to manifest, what you're really believing for. I believe that dreams are the seeds of hope. And I believe hope is the confident expectation that God gives us. In this book here, Over the Top by Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar's he's a sales trainer from many, many, many years ago. What's really neat about him is back in the day before I was really saved and I was taking sales training from this man. I didn't know it then, but he was a Christian. And today he's a Christian author and just a great man. And it's interesting because everything that I ever learned about sales from the very beginning up, the mentors that were in my life that taught me about selling were all Christians. Tom Hopkins was he would give out the book More Than a Carpenter. He would tell people, he'd teach them sales, but he'd also tell them about Jesus. So I found that kind of interesting that God always put people in my life to teach me principles of the world that were rooted in the Word of God. So no wonder so much that's it. But I want to read something to you this morning from this book as we get going down this dreams versus desire conversation. We're going to probably have this conversation over a couple of weeks. But John Johnson said this in the book. He says, men and women are limited not by their place of their birth, not by the color of their skin, but by the size of their hope. Let me read that to you again. Men and women are not limited by the place of their birth, by the color of their skin, but by the size of their hope. So limitations, your inability to execute on whatever it is that you're believing God for, whether it's a business and finances, whether it's harmony and peace in your marriage, in your family, whether it's getting married and having a successful life, whether it's running a successful ministry, no matter what it is that you're believing for, it starts with the dream. It starts with having hope. That word hope, we define it as confident expectation of good. And I think desires are a great thing. I think desires are I call them the stepping stones, if you will, to our dreams, right? You got to have desires. I think what's happening is some people have greater desires than they do dreams. I think some people see other people's dreams come to reality and they desire that dream that's not their dream. And I stopped to tell you today, very simply, that God will give you your own dreams. In Jeremiah, he says, I know the thoughts I think towards you. They're thoughts of good and not of evil. But the way that you know, is it a dream or is it a desire? If it is a dream, you're willing to pursue it. If it's a dream, you're willing to pursue it. If it's a dream, you're willing to put effort into it. If it's a dream, you're willing to sow into it. If it's a real dream, if it's a real vision from God, you're willing to sacrifice for it. I know people that tell me they want to start a business. Well, Pastor, I really want to be self-employed. And then I tell them to do a business plan. They won't even do a business plan. They won't take the time to sit down and write out a 10-step business plan. Think about that for a minute. You don't really have a dream of having a business. You see other people being what you think is successful in business. You see them on Facebook, and making their business sound real good on Facebook. And you think you want that. You desire what they have. You don't have a dream for that thing. You're not willing to sweat for it. You're not willing to work for it. You're not willing to invest for it. You want the fruit of what it's producing. Just like in marriages, some people are single and they see people that are married, and they think they want to be married. It's so funny to me. All the people that want to be married so bad for years, they want to be married. They want to be married. They want to be married. I want to be married so I can have sex and whenever I want. And I want to be married so I can go off whenever I want. And I want to be married so I can hold hands and walk on the beach with somebody I love. And then they get married. There's no walking on the beach. There's no going off no more. Sex is, not even a real thing anymore. Right? Because you desired what someone else had. You didn't really, it wasn't your dream. It really wasn't, you really didn't really even want it. Outside of sex and maybe a little companionship, right? You didn't want the sharing, you didn't want sacrificing, you didn't want the giving up, you didn't want all those things. So it really wasn't your dream to be married, it was your desire, right? It's just like a business, owning a business. Everybody wants to own a business. Everybody wants to have CEO on their card until they're the one that have to sell the pie, bake the pie, peel the potatoes for the pie, melt the butter for the pie in the oven, cut the pie, put the pie in the container, get done doing that all day Friday, then get out in the 5 o'clock traffic on Friday and deliver the pies. And then you got to do that in your house because you can't afford a bakery. And now you're only cooking 6 pies at a time. And you got to have 50 pies for the day. So you got to sit in front of that oven for 8 hours and cook pies all day long. Right? That's what my wife did. You know what I mean? It's funny to me when people talk about my wife and, well, she really don't, I want to talk to you, Pastor Nick, because she really don't have, Pastor Franny, I don't think she has a lot of business experience. Are you kidding me? My wife built a business from nothing. I'm talking about from zero, from a recipe to $100,000 a year, almost $100,000 a year business. And she did everything. Every part of that business, right? Why? Because it was her dream. It was her desire. That's something she wanted to do. She didn't want, it wasn't about the money. She gave me all the money. She gave all the money to the house. It wasn't about the money. It was about a desire and a dream for her to say she could build something from the ground up like her ancestors have done. Her father did, her mother. She just wanted to do that. That was a dream of hers. And she poured everything into it. What are you pouring into that's a dream? Are you just sitting back on Facebook all day, looking at what everybody else has, desiring what they have? I tell people about people, write down what you want. If you're going to look for a church, what are the 5 things you're looking for in a church? What are the 5 things that are, why do you think you need to write down why it's important and what are the important 5 things about finding a church home? Why do you think that's important? Why do you think I tell you that? Why do you think I tell you write down 5 things you want in a husband? Why do you think I tell you when you say I want a business, write down the 5 most important things about starting a business? Because the enemy's always going to send a lot of distractions. And what do you think distractions are going to feed into? Distractions aren't going to feed into, distractions are going to feed into the desire. In other words, if you're desiring a husband and you don't write down the 5 things, and I'm not talking about one thing that, I want this. No, you got to define these things. Because if not, guess who's going to show up? Somebody that's really good looking, really handsome, really a woman is fine. Why? Because the first thing, if you're single, you're probably a little bit, sexually lustful, right? Because hopefully you ain't been sleeping around with everybody. That's a natural thing. So if you don't have everything written out and Mr. Fine shows up or Mrs. Fine shows up, you're going to be quicker to hop into bed because you didn't define that, this person needs to have this. This person needs to have this. This person needs to have this. These are the things. I'm not telling you they got to have everything. I'm just telling you, you got to know what before they showed up, your dream was. So that way, when you give up something, you fully go into it knowing what you're giving up. Just like you write down what you expect of a church. Just like you write down what you expect from a business. Why? So we get going because a dream requires sacrifice. A dream requires you selling out, and you want to make sure you're selling out to the right thing. So we're going to really dig into this thing on wisdom, the differences between dreams and desires, because I think a lot of people out there have a lot of desires, and you need to get some of that stuff out of you, because a lot of times desires come from you watching and putting stuff before your eyes that's fake. It's real. It's just not true. It really isn't. And you desire things that you desire, ghosts, things that you think is. All these people with all this stuff they put on Facebook about their marriages, and they put that vacation, and a lot of times people will put pictures on of things they're doing. They aren't even their things. I heard Dr. Layton say this the other day. Go take a picture in front of a car that, with a bow on it, like their husband just bought them that. And, you see them 6 months later. Well, I thought you just got that. Oh, no, that was something I was believing for. But they put it out there because they want you to think. This is the stuff you allow. That's why you got to get your focus on your dream. You got to get centered on what you're believing. You got to know what you're willing to pay the price for and what you're not. And what you're not. And sometimes things are good just as they are. And you need to know that too. So anyway, listen, I love you. I hope you enjoyed the day. Sorry I was a little bit late. Tomorrow is prayer Thursday. Lakeisha will be on. Please be on. She does a great job. She comes on here. She prays for you guys. She prays for this. She prayed for the Fun Fest. Look at the Fun Fest. Y'all all prayed, man. We had a great time. Thank you all for coming. I want you to know that I love you. I love you. I love you. And until tomorrow, Pastor Nick saying, enjoy life. Oh, hey, I'll see you tonight at church. Be at church.